Don't ask me anything about production or the music scene. I know about babies and Waiheke. Every time I go out and DJ a set, I go through the same mental process of, okay, these people are basically paying my bills. So I've got to give them what they want. But if I go out there and play music I don't like, then I might as well still be DJing weddings, which I used to do back in the day. So so I kind of play a couple for the crowd and then one for me, a couple for the crowd and then one for me. Yeah. Not in that order, or else lose the crowd pretty quick. But there's definitely got to be those times of every set I do, and same with tunes. Every tune I make, it's got to be that element of do that for me, and
you've still got to provide a way in for people to get in there.
And I think I mean I definitely know, I can tell there's a difference in the energy of the crowd when I start playing my tunes. It's like you see a lot of people kind of like moving back, going to the bar or going outside for ciggy. But then you see a good handful of people going, fuck yeah, this is the shit, but yeah, just
that's
still
kind of that's kind of like the art of being a DJ though, right?
We're not selling,
what you look at, what you play, where you draw that line, that's
well, that's
the interesting part of being a DJ. Was what you're going to play and
find your balance in there.
That's why I like doing 2-hour sets opposed to like an hour.
Like 1 hour,
because then you can at least play a good chunk at the end of the stuff that you're really into, and you've got the time to slowly move down to it, opposed to like smash it and then play a couple of weird tunes at the end. Like, where did they come from? Whereas if you've got long enough time, you can kind of move it towards that sound, and sort of people understand it more because of the gradual progression to it. But man, I find selection the hardest thing about doing a gig. I used to, when I first started DJing, I used to think it was all about throwing in as many tunes as you can and twisting it up and playing all this weird shit and but now I'm definitely more about just sort of slow gradual progression, moving a set slowly and but I mean I still fuck it up heaps, but yeah, it's definitely something that it's the thing I enjoy the most about DJing, but it's the hardest thing about DJing. I mean, mixing two tunes together, like I tell people that they don't know anything about DJing and they're like, oh, is it hard? And I'm like, putting two tunes together, you can do it pretty much blindfolded, scratching your ass and doing it with one hand, and I could teach anyone how to mix in a day, and I have taught heaps of people how to mix really quickly, but it's the selection that's the hard thing, and that's the thing that it takes years to get right, and it's knowledge of tunes and all that sort of stuff, and that's what makes a good DJ stand out, I think.
So what when you mentioned Borders basically approached you and offered you an album deal, what had happened to get from you just writing tunes over there in Waiheke to Borders actually wanting to pick that up? Had you been sending them out? Had you been starting to play out as well, or you just knew the people?
A guy called Marty at Border is the guy that approached me, and said, actually, I'd sent a tune to Ollie Bassweight. So he's a guy that runs a little dubstep label from Wellington. And so I sent him one of my tunes called Immortal, and he was like, hit me up and said, we need to chat. So I chatted to him on AIM, and he's like, I want to do an EP. So I was like, okay, cool, well, I'll finish an EP up. and somehow this guy called Marty found out about it, and he works at Border, and he said, "Hey, come in for a meeting."
Oh, okay.
But I knew Marty from doing Roll TV.
Yeah.
He was the director up at and he directed our TV show for a year.
Okay. Yeah.
And for those who don't know, Roll TV was a drum and bass TV show on Alt. I did that for 3 years with Billy Floyd and a guy called Function. So yeah, I met Marty up there, and so he kind of, and I just launched the New Zealand apparel.
Yep.
At that time, while I was doing Roll, so he saw me take sort of Roll and package it up and market it, and the same with New Zealand. So he kind of knew that, he just knew that I had the ability to market myself well. And so when he found out I was doing an EP, he just said, "Hey, I'm coming for a chat, and do you want distribution?" And I was like, "Yeah, I didn't really think about that, but that sounds cool."
Be good, yeah.
So because Ollie Basework was just going to put it out on Beatport and a few digital sites and stuff, and so I went into Border. Marty picked me up from town, and I went in there for a chat. Met Soren, who owns Border, and they were looking. They'd heard about this thing called dubstep, and it had just started. There were a few gigs going on around Auckland, mainly.
So when would have this been? This would be
about 3 years ago.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And so they said I would do an EP and an album and see how it goes. And so so I busted out the EP, then did a 12-inch and toured that, and then did the album, which came out a year ago. But yeah, so they've been awesome. They basically made my dreams come true. You know, it's amazing once you go from sort of just having a few tunes on the internet to getting an actual physical CD.
Yeah. Then
magazines want to interview you, and radios, and like the amount of hookups they gave me was insane. I was doing shitloads of interviews, and getting like 2-page write-ups and Rip It Up and Real Groove and all those sorts of things, which, if it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't have had that. And it's all about promotion, really.
So with New Zealand and with Roll, because I always remember watching Roll and seeing what you did with the clothing label, it was always a very kind of focused and tight. It seemed like you knew what you wanted to do, and you were pushing it, and you were promoting it, and you were marketing it. Was that something you just knew to do? Had you ever studied marketing, or was it just you just wanted to get it out there to people?
No, marketing's been another kind of natural thing for me. I always keep an eye on what's happening. Sort of whenever I drive along in the car, and I never look at. I always get lost around Auckland because I never look at where I am, because I'm too busy looking at billboards or like, oh, that's a cool logo. Oh, I like that ad. They could have done better on that ad type thing. And it's just something I've always been interested in. And so when it came to marketing my own product, it was just a natural thing.